Greetings, YouTubers. Cosmic Mystic here. Today, I want to talk about a potentially controversial topic, the topic of the identity of God. So, I'm going to submit to you. I'm going to start off by submitting to you that I am God. I'm God, creator of worlds, breather, giver of life. Right here. I'm He. And so are you. You are God as well. So this can be a very controversial, maybe even what some people would consider heretical concept. And but it's an old concept. It's an old concept. So a lot of us of Judeo-Christian, Islamic backgrounds, maybe not so much Islamic, but definitely Judeo-Christian, we grow up and we get exposed to a lot of imagery and concepts, anthropomorphic concepts of God, where God is this man. So usually we get these images of this white guy off in the clouds somewhere. He has a long beard, and a lot of this imagery has been passed down to us from. It has a Roman Greco, a Roman Greco origin, Roman Greco Norse. It's Zeus or Odin. So the old bearded God. So a lot of us, we have this. We still have this image kind of in our minds, kind of in our heads, and we see God as separate from us. So we see it as him as an individual off somewhere. We're down here and he's up there. And so now some of us will get into these arguments or these debates. Well, how do you know that God is not a woman, or how do you know it's a he and not a she? So we get into those sort of debates. Some of us will get into these other debates. How do we know that God is not black, or God is not Asian, or that God's white? We get into these other sorts of debates. Well, I mean, the way I see it, for me, it's a little bigger than that, or a little grander than that. Is that if you do accept, I have a friend, very Christian friend, and I was trying to explain to them one time the concept that that I am God and that you are God. And so here's the way I went about it. Was I asked her, I said, well, you agree that you believe that God is everything? She's like, yes, of course. So everything is God, right? So here's a big circle. It's a big circle. And that's God. Okay? Everything. All right? Now, everything includes you. So here's a little circle that's you inside of this big circle. Okay? So if you are this little circle inside of a big circle, then everything in the little circle that's you is contained in the big circle that's God. So you are God. Right? So that didn't fly. It may not fly with some of you. That's okay. But I want you to consider, let's say if you're a divine, omnipotent being, a divine, omnipotent intelligence, whose motives and processes are far more profound than what you or I can conceive. Now I know you're thinking, but you just said you were God, and I was God. So what are you talking about? Well, bear with me. So it's easy for me to understand. It's easy for me to understand with my heart. It's easy for me to understand with my mind. It's easy for me to understand with my spirit that an omnipotent being could get something out of knowing himself, herself, itself, knowing itself by dividing or by partialing itself into smaller, lesser creatures. That those are expressions of itself. Let me throw it at you another way. So imagine I used to play, like if you play role-playing games, RPGs, and you start off with this character. First-person RPGs, role-playing games. You might start off with this character, and at the beginning of the game, and you have no strength, you have no powers, you have no weapons, and you play the game, and everything's kicking your butt. You're getting attacked by spiders and rats, and and you build up through each mission. You build up your powers until you get stronger and stronger. You get more weapons, you get more armor, so that as you advance in the game, pretty soon you might find that you can do anything. You can go anywhere. So a trip that used to take you days by foot, you can now just fly or teleport. You got a spell, a magical spell, you can teleport. Nothing can hurt you because your armor and your strength, your hit count. This is for you game players, people that play games. You'll understand what I'm talking about. Your hit count is so high that nothing can hurt you. So you're impervious, and your attack skills are so high that you can just blow anything away. So after a while, at first it's challenging and it's fun to exercise these new powers. But then after a while, you find that the game is boring because you have all these powers. So what do? Either you level up, or you buy a more advanced version of the game, or you start all over again from scratch with no powers, and you go back to being that little, peon that you started with, and you enjoy the game struggling and with no powers, because that's what's fun, right? So I can see a divine omnipotent sentience getting something out of expressing itself as an earthworm, or as a spider, or as an amoeba, or as a man. So I'm just throwing this out there. This is an old concept. It's in a lot of esoteric, metaphysical studies. I am God. Some people believe that there's a mystic Christianity, history of mystic Christianity, where some people believe that that was the teaching, the message of Jesus, and that it was kind of subverted and coverted, through various regimes. And this can get kind of controversial, So, but I want to throw it out there for those of you that are open-minded and like to think about those sort of things, and not just think here, but like to think here. And I want to put it out there that ask yourself, who is God? Ask yourself, can you be God? Can I be God? Think on that. So thanks for taking the time to join me. Fill in the comment section below. Let's talk about it. I am God. You are God. And I'm also Cosmic Mystic. And subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you around.